If you're a man over 60 and your energy has dropped, your performance has faded, and intimacy feels like a memory, I want you to hear this clearly. It's not because you're getting older, it's because your body is starving for something simple, something you've probably walked past 1,000 times in your own kitchen. The real reason your strength, stamina, and confidence are slipping might have nothing to do with aging, and everything to do with what's missing from your plate. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men just like you restore their energy, their circulation, and their sense of self, without relying on pills or complicated routines. And in today's video, I'm going to share 7 specific foods that I personally recommend to my patients. Foods that can help unclog blood vessels, boost testosterone, sharpen your mind, and bring your energy back online in ways that might surprise you. Now, here's what most men get wrong. They think more exercise or another supplement will fix the problem. But without these 7 foods, real, functional, nutrient-rich foods, your body can't do what it's designed to do. That's the missing link. And once you fix it, everything begins to change. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear, natural plan to take back your vitality. And I'll reveal a common mistake many men make with these foods that quietly cancels out all their efforts. Let's get started. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and tap that button and turn on the bell, so you never miss a new video designed to help men over 60 regain energy, strength, and confidence. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, and let me know what kind of content would better support your journey. Alright, let's jump into the very first food on our list, one that's simple, familiar, and surprisingly powerful. It's something you might already have in your kitchen, yet most men overlook its ability to jumpstart blood flow, fuel testosterone, and set the tone for your entire day. Let's talk about soft-boiled eggs, and why they may be the key to unlocking your energy and performance after 60. 1. Soft-boiled eggs, the nitric oxide starter. I'll never forget the first time Frank came into my office. 66 years old, tall, broad-shouldered, the kind of man who once commanded a room just by walking into it. But on that day, he looked defeated. Not physically broken, but weighed down by something deeper. "Doc," he said, eyes lowered, voice barely above a whisper, "I just don't feel like myself anymore." Frank had been a firefighter for over 30 years. He was used to adrenaline, early mornings, and the kind of strength that people relied on. But now, he was waking up tired. His legs felt like they were dragging through wet cement, and intimacy. That had quietly slipped away too. His wife tried to be patient, but Frank could see the disappointment in her eyes, even if she never said a word. I looked at his labs. Testosterone was lower than expected. Blood pressure elevated. Blood flow metrics sluggish. It was a classic case I'd seen hundreds of times in men his age, but instead of reaching for prescriptions right away, we started with something deceptively simple: 2 soft-boiled eggs every morning. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How could an egg possibly change anything? Here's the truth. It's not just about the egg, it's about what's inside. Soft-boiled eggs are rich in choline, a nutrient that helps build acetylcholine, a neurotransmitter critical for sexual arousal and muscle activation. When acetylcholine levels drop, everything slows down: your blood flow, your muscle responsiveness, and yes, even your ability to perform. But that's just the beginning. Eggs also deliver CoQ10 and vitamin B12, 2 nutrients that power your mitochondria, the tiny engines inside your cells responsible for energy production. And when you're over 60, those engines need all the help they can get. Plus, they contain selenium and omega-3 fats, both of which support healthy testosterone levels and cardiovascular function. Here's what I told Frank. This isn't about the egg, it's about giving your body the fuel it's been quietly begging for. And he listened. Every morning, he started his day with 2 soft-boiled eggs, a pinch of black pepper, and a small slice of avocado. No sugar-laden cereal, no white toast, just pure, restorative nutrition. The results weren't instant, but they were undeniable. By week 3, he was waking up more alert. By week 5, he noticed something even better. His morning erections had returned. Not perfect, not every single day, but they were there. A sign that his body was rebuilding itself, that his blood vessels were opening up again, that nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing blood vessels and allowing blood to flow freely, was back in business. You see, nitric oxide doesn't just show up. Your body has to produce it, preserve it, and activate it at the right time. Without the right nutrients, choline, CoQ10, omega-3s, selenium, it falls apart. And without nitric oxide, your erections suffer, your stamina fades, and your confidence disappears. Frank's story isn't rare. I've seen hundreds of men like him walk into my office feeling hollow and walk out with hope. Not because of miracles, but because we returned to what worked: real food, the right nutrients, and consistency. So if you're waking up tired, feeling disconnected from your body, or struggling to perform, don't overlook something as basic as a soft-boiled egg. It may be the first step to bringing your body back online. And as powerful as that egg is, it's only one piece of the puzzle. There's another food, creamy, delicious, and often overlooked, that has the power to relax your arteries, fuel your stamina, and help restore circulation where it matters most. Let's talk about that next. 2. Almond butter, the artery relaxer. When I met Richard, he was 71 and still sharp as a tack. A retired architect, he spoke with clarity, loved reading history, and spent his mornings walking the quiet trails near his home. But underneath that composed surface, Richard carried a frustration he hadn't spoken of, until the day he quietly asked, "Is it normal to feel so disconnected down there?" He wasn't talking about emotional intimacy. He meant blood flow. Erections that used to arrive like clockwork had become unreliable, weaker. His hands and feet were always cold, and sometimes he felt lightheaded when standing too quickly. "It's like my body's slowing down, and I can't stop it," he said, trying to mask his concern with a nervous smile. As I always do with patients over 60, I looked closely at his circulation profile. His blood pressure was creeping higher, and his nitric oxide markers were lower than optimal. No heart disease, thankfully, but it was clear his blood vessels were tightening, restricting the flow of life-giving blood to muscles, brain, and yes, his most vital areas for intimacy. Instead of reaching for medication, I asked Richard to try something else first. "Let's start small," I told him. "A tablespoon of almond butter a day." He raised an eyebrow. "Almond butter? Like what my grandkids eat?" I smiled. "Yes, but it's not kid food. For you, it's medicine." What most men don't realize is that almond butter is loaded with L-arginine, an amino acid that directly supports nitric oxide production. That means more relaxed arteries, better blood flow, and improved function where it matters most. On top of that, almonds contain magnesium, zinc, and healthy monounsaturated fats, all of which play key roles in hormone balance, nerve function, and vascular flexibility. Richard started adding a spoonful of almond butter to his morning oatmeal. Some days he just ate it straight from the jar with sliced apples. And what happened over the next few weeks was nothing short of remarkable. By the end of week 4, he told me his hands and feet were noticeably warmer. By week 6, his nighttime bathroom visits had dropped. But the best part? His confidence had returned. Erections were more reliable, longer lasting, and, most importantly, natural. No pills, no side effects. Just better circulation supporting a body that finally had what it needed to function properly. He told me, "It's strange how something so simple brought back a part of me I thought was gone for good." And that's what I want men to understand. Real food can heal. Almond butter isn't a miracle cure, but it is a quiet powerhouse, a source of vascular support, hormonal nourishment, and metabolic balance all in one spoonful. I've seen it work for hundreds of men. For some, it's the warmth in their hands returning. For others, it's the spark in their relationship reigniting. But for all of them, it's proof that their body still wants to thrive. It just needs the right tools. And we're only getting started. Because while almond butter helps the blood vessels relax and the body refocus, there's another food that works in the shadows of the night. A rich, ruby-red drink that not only helps you sleep deeper, but also rejuvenates your circulation while you rest. It's a game changer, and it might be sitting in your fridge right now. Let's talk about that next. 3. Tart cherry juice, the sleep and circulation superfood. I remember the first time Harold opened up to me. He was 68, a retired school principal, proud father of 3, and the kind of man who always had a book in his hand. But lately, he'd been running on fumes. "I wake up more tired than when I went to bed," he told me, rubbing the back of his neck. "And to be honest, I can't remember the last time I woke up ready, if you know what I mean." He wasn't just tired, he was disconnected from himself. His sleep was broken, he woke up 2 or 3 times a night, and mornings felt like a slow crawl instead of a fresh start. He blamed it on age, most men do. But I've learned over the years that fatigue and fading performance often begin not with the body, but with sleep. See, when you're over 60, your ability to produce deep, restorative sleep declines. And that's not just a nuisance, it's a biological setback. Testosterone is produced while you sleep, so is growth hormone, and your blood vessels repair themselves during those quiet nighttime hours. Poor sleep means your body misses its chance to rebuild. And when that happens night after night, your testosterone crashes, your blood flow suffers, and your energy fades. That's why I recommended something Harold had never considered: a small glass of tart cherry juice, 30 minutes before bed. He looked at me, surprised. "Juice? At night?" Absolutely. Tart cherry juice is one of the few natural sources of melatonin, the hormone that signals your brain it's time to rest. But it goes beyond just helping you fall asleep. Tart cherries are rich in anthocyanins, powerful plant compounds that reduce inflammation and improve endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. That means better circulation, even while you sleep. Harold was skeptical, but willing to try. He started with just 4 ounces of pure, unsweetened tart cherry juice each night. By the end of the first week, he noticed something surprising. He was falling asleep faster. By week 3, he was sleeping through the night. But what moved him most wasn't just the sleep. It was what happened in the mornings. "I started waking up feeling like me again," he told me, almost laughing. "And I don't mean just well-rested. I mean ready, physically ready." His morning erections had returned, something he hadn't experienced in months. His blood pressure also dipped slightly into a healthier range. His energy was no longer scattered across the day, it was focused. He didn't need 3 cups of coffee just to feel alive anymore. He was regaining his rhythm. I tell my patients this all the time. The body doesn't just break down during the day, it heals at night. If you rob yourself of that healing, whether from stress, poor sleep hygiene, or low melatonin, you rob yourself of performance, confidence, and clarity. Tart cherry juice gives that back. It's not a miracle drink, but it's a natural, powerful nudge in the right direction. And for many men, it's the missing piece of the puzzle. Harold now calls it his sleep tonic. I call it one of nature's best-kept secrets for men over 60. But as good as tart cherry juice is, it only solves part of the problem. Because even if you sleep better and blood flow improves, there's one part of the male body that often suffers in silence, and it's the foundation of everything from intimacy to bladder control. And the next food we'll explore, it targets that neglected organ directly. Don't miss this one. 4. Pumpkin seeds, prostate protectors. Ethan was 64 when he came to see me, and from the outside, he looked like he was doing everything right. He ate clean, stayed active, and was deeply devoted to his wife of 40 years. But as he sat in my office, I could see the exhaustion in his eyes, the kind of fatigue that doesn't come from a bad night's sleep, but from the constant drain of a body not cooperating. He leaned forward and lowered his voice. "Doc, I'm up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom. Every night. I can't sleep through, and during the day, well, I'm tired, I'm foggy, and when it comes to being intimate, I just feel off." This is one of the most common complaints I hear from men over 60. And more often than not, the source isn't just low energy or hormone imbalance, it's the prostate. The prostate may be small, but its impact on your life is enormous. As men age, it tends to enlarge, pressing on the urethra and causing frequent urination, weak flow, and interrupted sleep. But here's what many men don't realize. Prostate health also directly affects sexual function, hormone balance, and even emotional well-being. Ethan had tried medications, but the side effects were frustrating, so we turned to something simpler. I told him to start eating a small handful of pumpkin seeds each day, roasted, unsalted, nothing fancy. He chuckled at first. Seeds? That's it? Yes, and here's why. Pumpkin seeds are nature's pharmacy for the male prostate. They're rich in zinc, a mineral your prostate relies on more than any other part of your body. Zinc helps regulate testosterone, reduce inflammation, and protect against abnormal growth. When zinc levels drop, which they often do after 60, the prostate begins to swell, testosterone falters, and everything from libido to sleep can suffer. But pumpkin seeds offer more than just zinc. They're also packed with magnesium, plant sterols, and omega-3 fatty acids, a combination that not only supports prostate function, but also improves urinary control and reduces inflammation throughout the body. Ethan took the advice to heart. He kept a small jar of pumpkin seeds on the kitchen counter and grabbed a handful each afternoon. Within a month, his nighttime bathroom trips dropped from 3 times a night to once. That alone made a huge difference in his energy levels. But the real win? His confidence came back. He told me, I didn't realize how much the prostate was affecting me. It wasn't just sleep, it was how I felt as a man. This story isn't unique. I've seen men in their 70s and 80s regain clarity, control, and connection just by giving their prostate the support it needs. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated diets. You need the right building blocks, nutrients your body recognizes and uses efficiently. Pumpkin seeds are small, but their impact is anything but. They work quietly, steadily, and they give your body the tools to protect itself from the inside out. And just when Ethan thought he had turned a corner, I introduced him to a food that added even more fuel to the fire. It wasn't exotic or trendy. In fact, it was something he used to enjoy as a child. Creamy, rich in protein, and loaded with gut-healing nutrients, this next food became the bridge between his physical strength and his hormonal balance. Let me show you why it might be the missing piece for you too. 5. Greek yogurt Do-Well Protein Repair. Steve was 70 when I first met him, and everything about him said steady. Steady gait, steady voice, steady habits. He was the kind of man who didn't complain much, didn't make excuses, and carried himself with the quiet pride of a former Navy officer. But the moment he started talking, I could tell something was off. I just don't bounce back like I used to, he said. I get through the day, but I feel like I'm running on fumes. I've lost strength, and to be honest, even intimacy feels like a memory. That last part hit him hard. You could see it in his expression, the frustration of a man who still had the desire but not the physical energy to follow through. And beneath it all was a hint of embarrassment, as if talking about it made him feel less like the man he used to be. I asked him about his diet. Like many men his age, Steve had cut down on meat and heavy meals to avoid digestive issues. Breakfast was usually toast and coffee, lunch was light, and dinner was whatever his wife prepared. But there was one thing missing: protein, the kind that restores muscle, supports hormone production, and helps regulate energy throughout the day. I recommended something simple: 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt, ideally in the evening, paired with a few walnuts or berries. Steve raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised. Yogurt? At night? Yes, and for good reason. Greek yogurt is one of the most efficient sources of protein for older adults. It contains both casein and whey, 2 high-quality proteins that are slowly absorbed by the body. That slow release is key, especially overnight when your body goes into repair mode. During sleep, your muscles recover, your testosterone rebalances, and your immune system recharges. Without enough protein, that whole system breaks down quietly. But that's not all Greek yogurt offers. It's packed with probiotics, which support gut health, a key, often overlooked piece of the male hormone puzzle. A healthy gut influences everything from inflammation levels to how well your body absorbs zinc, magnesium, and even vitamin D. all of which are critical for performance, strength, and stamina. Steve was open-minded, so he gave it a shot. He started ending his day with Greek yogurt, tossed with a sprinkle of cinnamon and a few crushed walnuts. Within 2 weeks, he noticed something strange. He wasn't waking up as groggy. He had more energy before noon, and his muscles didn't ache as much after yard work. By week 4, his mood lifted. He laughed more, and as he told me with a grin, his wife had started calling him Captain Comeback. And he earned that nickname. With better protein intake and improved gut support, his body began rebuilding from the inside out. His testosterone levels crept back toward normal. His strength in daily tasks returned. But more than anything, he began to feel capable again. That kind of quiet confidence is what so many men lose, and what can be rebuilt with the right tools. Greek yogurt may not seem heroic, but it's a deeply functional food. It supports your muscles, your metabolism, your hormones, and your gut. And when all 4 of those systems are working together, you don't just feel better, you feel like you again. But Steve's story didn't stop there. Because just as he started feeling stronger and more balanced, I introduced him to a food that helped him recover while he slept. It wasn't trendy or expensive, just a creamy, old-school staple packed with one of the most underrated minerals for male vitality. And the effect it had on his stamina and sleep surprised even me. Let's talk about that next. 6. Cottage cheese. Quiet strength builder. Greg was 72 and one of the most disciplined men I'd ever met. A retired math teacher with a love for morning walks, classical music, and crossword puzzles. He was sharp, deliberate, and thoughtful in everything he did. But over the past year, he told me, something had changed, and not for the better. He explained it to me like an equation that no longer added up. I eat well, I stay active, I go to bed on time, but I wake up drained, and I just don't feel solid anymore. I've lost weight in places I didn't want to, and honestly, I feel weaker everywhere. As he spoke, there was a quiet frustration in his voice, not just about the fatigue or the fading muscle, but about a deeper loss. The quiet strength that had carried him through decades was fading, and he didn't know how to stop it. When we looked at his nutrition, one thing stood out immediately. He wasn't getting enough protein before bed, and he was missing a critical nutrient for men his age, selenium. That combination plays a bigger role than most people realize. Without enough protein overnight, your body can't repair itself properly. And without enough selenium, testosterone production suffers, and oxidative stress takes a toll on your cells. So I suggested something simple, old-fashioned, and powerful. A half cup of cottage cheese before bed. Greg laughed. Cottage cheese? I haven't had that since college. Are you serious? Dead serious. Cottage cheese is rich in casein protein, a slow-digesting protein that works while you sleep. It feeds your muscles gradually through the night, giving your body what it needs to restore strength and stabilize hormones. That alone can make a dramatic difference in how you wake up, especially for men over 60 who are losing muscle mass faster than they're building it. But what really makes cottage cheese special for men like Greg is the selenium. This trace mineral is often overlooked, yet it plays a crucial role in testosterone synthesis, sperm health, and cellular repair. It's also a powerful antioxidant, helping to protect the testes, prostate, and vascular system from age-related damage. Greg started small, just half a cup of cottage cheese with a sprinkle of cinnamon and a few pumpkin seeds after dinner. It became part of his nightly ritual, something familiar and comforting. Within a few weeks, he noticed the difference. He was sleeping more soundly. His early morning walks felt easier. His muscle tone, especially in his legs, started returning. Even more surprising, his mood improved. I feel steady again, he told me one day, grounded, like I'm rebuilding myself. That's the power of giving your body what it truly needs at the right time. Cottage cheese doesn't make headlines. It's not flashy, but for men over 60, it's one of the best-kept secrets to restoring strength, balance, and hormonal stability. It's like pouring fuel into your tank while the world sleeps. Greg's transformation wasn't dramatic overnight, but it was real. And what's more important, it lasted. Because when you nourish your body at night, you don't just rest, you recover. And that quiet restoration sets the stage for everything you do the next day. But Greg's journey didn't end with cottage cheese. There was still one final piece of the puzzle left, something I often call the morning ignition switch. It's not a pill or a powder, but a powerful blend of foods that come together in one simple shake. A shake that activates blood flow, balances hormones, and jumpstarts your energy in a way most breakfasts never could. Trust me, you're going to want this recipe. Let's dive into that next. 7. Rebuild Shake Dr. Khera's Prescription Blend. When James first came to see me, he was 69 and had been retired for just over a year. A former high school coach and lifelong early riser, he thought retirement would mean more time for travel, hiking, and connecting with his wife. But instead, he found himself constantly tired, dragging through the mornings, and often skipping breakfast because, in his words, I didn't see the point. He wasn't in bad health, per se. His labs were decent, his weight stable, but his energy and motivation were clearly off. I used to feel charged up by 7 a.m., he told me. Now I'm 2 cups of coffee deep and still foggy by 10. This is more common than most people realize. After 60, many men feel like their body just doesn't start the way it used to. And in many cases, the culprit isn't some major illness, it's a lack of morning fuel. Not just calories, but the specific combination of nutrients your body craves to wake up fully, power your muscles, support your hormones, and ignite blood flow. So I introduced James to something I call the Rebuild Shake. It's not just a smoothie, it's a carefully designed blend of ingredients I've fine-tuned over the years to meet the exact needs of older men. This isn't about bulking up or crash dieting, it's about restoration. Here's what I told him to include. 1 scoop of plant-based protein for clean muscle support, half a banana for energy and potassium, a tablespoon of almond butter to support vascular flexibility, a teaspoon of ground flaxseed for hormone balance, a handful of spinach for magnesium and nitrates, 1 cup of unsweetened oat milk as the base, and just a pinch of cinnamon to help regulate blood sugar. It might sound simple, but the effects are anything but. James committed to having the shake each morning, first thing, before his walk. And what happened next still brings a smile to my face. Within the first 2 weeks, he told me he was waking up with more clarity. By the end of the first month, he said his walks felt easier, his energy more consistent, and his focus, especially in the afternoons, was sharper than it had been in years. But the real shift came in a conversation he had with his wife. She told me I seemed more like myself again, he said, voice catching just a little, more present, more alive. And that's the beauty of this shake. It's not a gimmick or a trendy health fad. It's a reliable, science-backed ritual that sets the tone for your entire day. Each ingredient supports a key function: testosterone production, blood vessel dilation, nerve signaling, muscle repair, or stable energy. Together, they act like a morning ignition switch, helping your body and mind click into gear gently but powerfully. The Rebuild Shake became James's new morning anchor. He didn't miss it, even while traveling. He told me it gave him something he hadn't felt in years, a sense of momentum. That forward motion, both physically and emotionally, is often the first thing to fade with age, and the most powerful thing to reclaim. Now, you've learned about the 7 essential foods I recommend most to men over 60. Foods that fuel your energy, protect your prostate, restore your testosterone, and support healthy circulation. But knowing what to eat is only half the battle. Because in my next message to you, I want to reveal the 2 critical mistakes that sabotage these efforts. Mistakes I see men make all the time, even when their intentions are good. If you're serious about putting all this knowledge into action and finally feeling like yourself again, you'll want to hear this. Conclusion: your comeback starts here. If you've made it this far, I want to pause and say something simple but important. I'm proud of you, because taking time to understand your body, to ask hard questions, and to seek natural ways to restore your strength, that takes courage. And for men over 60, who've spent a lifetime giving to others, it's easy to forget that your health, your vitality, your energy still matter, but they do. You do. We've covered 7 powerful foods. Each one plays a different but essential role in bringing your body back to life. Soft-boiled eggs help jumpstart nitric oxide and awaken your energy in the morning. Almond butter supports open, flexible arteries and stronger circulation where it matters most. Tart cherry juice helps you sleep deeper and rebuild overnight, restoring testosterone and blood flow. Pumpkin seeds protect your prostate and bring hormone balance back into alignment. Greek yogurt supports gut health and muscle repair with steady, high-quality protein. Cottage cheese, rich in slow-digesting casein and selenium, fuels your body through the night and helps restore testosterone naturally. And the Rebuild Shake, my personal prescription, brings all of it together to energize your mornings, sharpen your mind, and get your body back in motion from the moment you wake. I've seen these foods change real lives, men just like you. Men who had lost their spark, felt ashamed of their fading stamina, or were quietly struggling in their relationships. And I've seen what happens when they take that first small step, because it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. About believing that your body still wants to heal, still wants to perform, and, given the right tools, can. This isn't theory. It's what I've seen over 30 years as a doctor. It's what I've walked through with my patients, one honest conversation at a time. The truth is, your comeback isn't about chasing youth. It's about unlocking the strength, confidence, and clarity that never left. You just needed the right path to find it again. So start with one food. Build one habit. Commit to consistency, not complexity. These foods are more than fuel. They are your daily medicine, natural, nourishing, and designed to work with your body, not against it. And remember, we're not done yet. Because even with all this powerful knowledge, there are 2 mistakes I see men make that undo everything they've built. In my next message, I'll show you what those mistakes are and how to fix them. If you want to make these changes last, if you want this to work for the long run, you won't want to miss it. Your comeback is just beginning. Let's keep going.